It's no major surprise that Donald Trump is back in office, being selected as president, beating out Kamala Harris, as you can see here, 295 to 226. Here you see Trump, as always, with the orange face and obviously orange makeup, clearly applied. Of course, orange being 33, the only color numerology that is 33. And that gets into the parallels when it comes to Ronald Reagan and Donald Trump. You see Trump here without the orange face way back in the 80s. And again, Ronald Reagan, Donald Trump, the parallels, both being actors. Obviously, Ronald Reagan, very famous actor. Donald Trump, an actor himself. And here you see him from his so-called reality show, The Celebrity Apprentice. And his famous line is, "You're fired." And of course, he was supposedly fired upon. And that gets into, again, the parallels between Ronald Reagan and Donald Trump. Take a look here. Obviously, back in 1981 with Ronald Reagan's so-called assassination attempt upon him. Just like Trump more recently this past summer. Donald Trump is very well known for showing the so-called AOK sign, which is really the 666 hand sign, just as you see here with Ronald Reagan from back in 1985 with Nancy Reagan. Now, more parallels. This is what this video is all about. Take a look here, getting back to the still shot of Donald Trump and his son-in-law, Jared Kushner. And here you see him with so-called Ivanka Trump, who I call Ivan Trump. And take a look here at the Masonic hand sign, more or less the Masonic M. And take a look here. Again, Jared Kushner and his formerly owned building. We'll get into that momentarily, but here you see Trump Tower in the proximity of the two buildings. And take a look here at the actual building itself that Kushner formerly owned. 666 on 5th Avenue, New York City. And taking a closer look here, a better look, I should say, at the building itself. Why would anybody put a 666 sign on the building? How often do you see this on any buildings throughout the world where they actually put the number of the building on top of the building for all to see? Very interesting. It tells you a lot about the people at the top of this world and who they are and what they're all about. And getting back to Kushner himself, as you see here, as I shown before, his surname just so happens to be 33 numerology. And that gets back to Ronald Reagan and the connection, again, with the 666. Take a look here at Ronald Reagan's home, along with Nancy Reagan. This is their home in Bel Air, California, 666 St. Cloud Road. So the similarities, the parallels, once again, let's take a look here at the actual address. Previously, 666 St. Cloud Road. They changed it. Supposedly, Nancy Reagan requested the local government to change it to 668. But the same thing happened here with Kushner's building at 660 Fifth Avenue, formerly 666. They changed it to 660, but still it remains the 666 and the 666. Again, the parallels, and just for those coincidence theorists out there with Ronald Reagan, later on the home being demolished back in 2020 and rebuilt and went on the market for $33 million. That gets back into Reagan here. Take a look here from back in 1981. This is Donald Reagan, Ronald Reagan's Treasury Secretary in the White House. Find it very interesting, the names. Donald Reagan and Ronald Reagan, with the two similar names. And this man here, as you see, was the former CEO of Merrill Lynch. As you see it with the bull symbolism. We know they're all about signs and symbols. Of course, going back in time with Moloch, the bull himself, and all about sacrifice, as you see here. And take a look when it comes to the horn deity, the bull itself. These people that run this world, They loved any type of horned animal, the goat, the bull, the ram, etc. And that gets into the Reagans, Ronald Reagan and Nancy Reagan, hiring an astrologer to guide them in the White House. And this is no surprise, as every single president has been a satanic Mason. Make no mistake about it. Take a look here. The connection with astrology, obviously, and Satanism. It's one book titled Astrology, Witchcraft, and Satanism. They're all one and the same. These are star worshippers. Stars are souls. They're fallen angels. And of course, the foundation of the White House itself, with the upside-down pentagram embedded in the street design. So make no mistake about it when it comes to those that run this world and those put into position. Now let's take a look here when it comes to Donald Trump. And this video presentation from back in 2022 covering the whole entire Mar-a-Lago fiasco that was 100% Freemasonically coded. And towards the end, you're going to hear me make the prediction that Donald Trump will be back as president in 2024. With the world being a stage and Donald Trump getting a huge spotlight, most recently with this Mar-a-Lago controversy, and let's actually take a look here at one of these articles referring to it. From this NPR.org headline, Trump says FBI agents searched his Mar-a-Lago home in Florida. And this took place on August 8th. Of course, August being the 8th month of the year, and you have your, of course, the 8th day. So you have your 88, you split the 88 in half, you get your dual 33s with Freemasonry. Let's take a look here at some of the contents. States here, former President Donald Trump said on Monday that FBI agents had searched his Mar-a-Lago club and residence in Palm Beach, Florida, and opened his safe. The FBI Department of Justice declined to comment, although Eric Trump said Monday that he was told the search was related to a possible mishandling of government secrets. The Justice Department is known to be investigating after the National Archives retrieved White House records from Mar-a-Lago. So again, this is something I believe setting the stage where they're trying to come after Trump, and basically as the underdog, I believe, I'm not privy to the script, but I believe this is setting up coming to the 2024 elections, where this underdog coming under attack with Donald Trump being placed back in a position of so-called power as president of the United States. We'll have to wait and see. Again, I don't have a crystal ball, but I believe when they spotlight stories like this with Donald Trump, and he's been, of course, out of so-called office for a while, for this to pop up in the mainstream media, I believe it's setting something up. And let's continue on here. And moving forward to August 22nd, it states here, Trump's legal team asked for a special master, and I find it interesting, special master, almost like in Freemasonry, to go through Mar-a-Lago evidence and determine if some should be returned. And again, with all these news stories, a lot of people like to downplay it, but the numbers are very key and very important. Let's scroll down here and take a look. And as you see in this paragraph, you're going to see that it's just a Masonically coded news story where it says Trump in the new filing also asked for more detailed receipt of what was removed from Mar-a-Lago. That request, if granted, would add to the 2 receipts the FBI already provided to Trump's team describing 33 items seized. So again, the key here is at 33. And again, I stated earlier, the people that play down the numbers game, the 33, either they're very ignorant or they're gatekeeping. Because this is very important. I'm going to show more connections with Trump and the 33. And before moving forward, I should mention also with Mar-a-Lago, you have the Mar backwards in reverse is Ram, just like you see in this astrological chart with, again, Ram or Mar in reverse. And to set the stage with the Donald Trump deception, with Newt Gingrich here on Fox News talking to Bill O'Reilly, he tries very hard to separate Donald Trump from the rest of the Republicans, rest of the politicians on the world stage, basically stating he's not a Freemason. And let's take a listen to Newt Gingrich in his own words.
And now they're faced with a very real prospect of Donald Trump becoming the leader of the party, and it absolutely drives them crazy. They just cannot imagine sharing. Well, because he's an outsider. He's not them. He's not part of the club. He's uncontrollable. He hasn't been through the initiation rites. He didn't belong to the secret society.
And again, that's part of the deception that Newt Gingrich's trying to paint a picture that Donald Trump is an outsider. Again, we're going to get back into the numbers game, and this is more recently with CNN talking about, again, Donald Trump and the whole raid on Mar-a-Lago. And again, the numbers game. Take a listen to what is said here.
That Trump himself said. He said, essentially, Barack Obama did the same thing. He said, quote, President Barack Obama kept 33 million pages of documents. How much of them classified?
There you go. The 33 once again with this news story. And it reminds me going back in time when it comes to Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, the so-called debate in 2016 for U.S. president. Again, the 33 in plain sight.
You get a subpoena, and after getting the subpoena, you delete 33,000 emails.
So again, the 33, and I know people are going to say, oh, that's 33,000 emails. But when it comes to numerology, the zeros mean nothing. So you have, again, your 33 in action, in this case, the dual 33s in plain sight. And also, I should mention, when it comes to Trump, going back in time, his family name is Trump. As you see here, in numerology is 33. And just take a look here from this one TV show. And they're basically ragging on Trump as his surname, his family's surname going back in time was Trump. And again, the 33. And also when it comes to Clinton as well, with Hillary Clinton being 33. So basically you have two 33s facing off against each other. And how far they go with the 33, let's take a look here at Ivan, who many call Ivanka, but I call Ivan. Take a listen. And again, during this one late night talk show with David Letterman, by the way, Letterman being 33 numerology, let's take a listen to what is said here.
My brothers and I work for him. We do anything really pertaining to real estate.
Right.
So we have 33 projects that are going up all over the world.
So people deny Trump, his family, they're nothing but a bunch of Masons. You're not going to make it on top of this world stage unless you're a Mason. That simple. And take a look at Trump with Melania.
The greatest country in the history of the world, of their own death.
And right there in plain sight, the square and the compass of Freemasonry in the White House. Again, signs and symbols rule this world, and they obviously communicate through signs and symbols. And that gets into Space Force with Donald Trump, as you see here. And this is basically the vector symbolism, as we all seen in Star Trek going way back in time. Here you see William Shatner. But again, the similarities, but the importance of the chevron itself, and which is used by all the so-called space agencies throughout the world. As you see here with Roscosmos with Russia and the chevron symbolism. It gets down to chevron is 33 numerology. Now again, the whole Masonic connection when it comes to Trump and all these former presidents. Take a look here at this Space Force hat. And what do you see here? Space Force, and it looks like a space shuttle. And interestingly enough, how the flames are curtailed to the side. But again, Masons love to flip things around. And take a look here. This is what the public sees. And this is what they see. The horned deity of Baphomet. You see the two eyes, the face, and basically the torch, just like you see here when it comes to Baphomet. Basically, one and the same. They're not going to tell you with words who they worship, but they put it in plain sight definitely. And also I should mention the Baphomet symbol here, as I mentioned many times, with Crowley, as you see all the translations for signs and symbols. And here's Baphomet and the Baphomet symbol. Let's take a look here going back to the 70s with Gerald Ford. And again, signs and symbols in plain sight. You get a little bit of a zoom in here at the tie. Same exact thing. All these so-called presidents, they're all on the same team, the same club. Just like you see here with these two Grand Sovereign Commanders on their hats, the sign for Baphomet in plain sight. So again, when it comes down to all the signs and symbols, people that deny that Donald Trump is a Freemason, it's all in plain sight for all to see. and there's no doubt about it. So getting back to the whole story with Mar-a-Lago in the so-called controversy in the 33, I believe Trump will be put back into place in 2024. I don't have a crystal ball. Once again, we'll have to wait and see, but I find it very interesting. Everything that's happening in the world stage, everything that's happening with Joe Biden and people's so-called lack of faith in Biden, and of course Trump being very controversial, very divisive, I believe it's the perfect opportunity to put Donald Trump back into play. We'll have to wait and see what happens. There's many twists and turns in the world stage, but again, with this coming out most recently, it's becoming almost the end of 2022, going into 2023, it definitely appears they're setting the stage for Donald Trump to return as president in 2024.